ready to drive by the rescue mission in Tacoma, and this is where they keep most of the homeless people housed, and it seems to be right over here. I'm going to try to get a little close-up view so you can see there's some people right there walking, and I used to deliver some clothes and socks and items that we used to collect when I worked for the state of Washington at Department of Social and Health Services, and they always need a lot of clothes and items. But that right there was the homeless shelter, and that's where they want a lot of people to end up. And that's why they hardly ever open the Section 8 list. It hasn't been open since '08, and now they're only letting 1,000 people just get on the waiting list. So that doesn't even mean that you're gonna get a cheaper place. You still have to wait forever, and a lot of people end up at the homeless shelter, where it's kind of like a diversion. And the churches aren't doing a lot about it. They don't have food banks. Most of them, I would say 90-some% of the churches in Pierce County and King County don't have food banks. And so it's a real crisis. I don't even know where a food bank is over here. I think there's one on Yakima. It's the closest to the shelter. And they give out food. I know the Red Cross, I don't think they even have a food bank. But it's just, things are getting really bad. And housing costs are going up, but people's wages aren't. The jobs, there's not a lot of jobs. It's hard, for single moms, elderly people with disabilities. Don't get discounts. Elderly can't find reasonable, decent places to live, so everyone's, I guess, just gets kind of thrown to the curb, and until places like this, the Chamber of Commerce and the Congress and people, the city and all that, if they don't, if they just turn a blind eye and they don't try to develop programs or get funding for them, then it's pretty bad. I mean, it's just going to get worse, and it's just going to trickle out everywhere. There's going to be more homeless people. And I know they have, plenty of buildings that are just sitting vacant, a bunch of foreclosed housing that just no one, I guess, can even have access to. And I've seen some of these HUD housing places that have turned old schools not being used into apartments, and of course we're not doing any of that. I guess that's in King County, but it's really something needs to be addressed. And if I have the time, I would go to the council meetings and maybe say something, but I really I can't sit for long periods of time there. The seats are uncomfortable. They don't really set it up for people with disabilities, and then you have to wait for hours just to even talk. And so, I don't know if anybody else wants to go down there and give it a try. I don't even, maybe they're listening. But, so, that's the way it goes, You gotta, get in there. You gotta tell them what's, going down. And otherwise, we just aren't going to be heard. And then just like this place over here, this emissions place, they closed it down. The only one in Pierce County and Tacoma, and it used to be right over here to the left, and it was really convenient. You get your tabs, you could just come over here and get your emission test, and see, it's not even in here anymore. Okay, they closed it down. Now, it would have made sense to keep that one open and close the other ones in the other counties, but of course, because we're poor, they always want to have, Fife is small, but yet they get one probably because they write more tickets. And then we have Lakewood. I guess they get one. I don't know why, but it just seems weird. So, you know, they don't think logically when they shut these things down.